Hello. So I think it goes without saying that I am absolutely thriving. There's so many ways you can tell, from my content, from the lack thereof. I turned 18 a few days ago. Just look at my setup. I've dedicated a corner in my room to be filled with pillows. I think it also goes without saying that mental health is serious. Damn, y'all, mental health low-key important. Wow, thank you, 18-year-old. I wouldn't have known without you. You see the title of this video, you know where this is going. And, we joke around, jokey jokes, all that. But, a serious note, please don't kill yourself. I don't really know how to, way smarter people than me have asked you not to, and they've asked you not to, and much more convincing words than I ever could, but I'm still gonna say, don't. Because, if you did, you wouldn't be able to watch this video. Sounds good, yeah? I'm not an expert. I turned 18 3 days ago, 4 days. And really the only thing I learned when I was 17 was how little I know about anything at all. So I'm not an expert on mental health. I'm trying to choke my own. I think the fact that I'm using a violent metaphor for my mental health is a whole universe to unpack in of itself. But, I'm a good guy. I'm in a giving mood. There are a few cases that are just... The CPR people, they're pumping, but there's just no... If you're watching this video, this does not apply to you. This is a very specific phenomenon that only applies to very few people. You're not one of them. First, we have leafyishere. Now, Leafy is someone whose influence, I think, extends far beyond the internet. If there is a list of people who I think genuinely had a hand in destroying the world, I would unironically put leafyishere on that list. That man hit middle schools and high schools in the suburbs like crack in the 80s. If I ever become somebody and any group chat messages of mine from like the ages of 9 to 12 get released to the public, it's done. Like, I'm gone. Bye-bye. I'm nothing. Now, you gotta understand that the internet was an extremely different place just 5-6 years ago. PewDiePie, the biggest YouTuber on the platform, released a video where he put death to all Jews on a big sign. And then Jacksepticeye, a good friend of his, huge overlap in fan base, released a video where he was like, I love PewDiePie. He's a good friend of mine, but I don't think he should have written death to all Jews on a big piece of cardboard. And he lost 1 million subscribers. But I think around 2019, I don't know if it was a pathogen or something, the culture of the internet kind of changed and everyone was like, wait a minute, you guys are Nazis. But even a few years before, everyone kind of, oh shit, wait a minute, themselves into becoming better people. Leafyishere was already falling into obscurity, but luckily, he's back. Okay, so to understand the impact of what I'm going to tell you, I think you have to understand Leafy's fan base. If you take Leafy's fan base as a whole, split it in two, 50% of his fans are gone. A lot of them grew up. A lot of them realize, wait a minute, you're pushing 30. And a lot of them are like, hey, I'm watching your videos, and then the next day I'm getting Nazis on my For You page. Can you tell me what's going on? His fan base is now made up of that 50% that's left. So of that 50%, I'd split it in 3 or 4 ways. 25% of his fans nowadays are just because he's on one of those alt-right. But by the way, if you're a content creator or whatever you are, if you ever have to migrate to a paid site or a weird site where there's porn and Nazis all over, it's over when you're posting videos on BitChute or Rumble or something. Like, it, just pack it up, you know what I mean? If you're migrating your content to a website that's not YouTube or TikTok, I'm not clicking on the link. We all hate capitalism, but a lot of things are like super valid. Brand identity is super important, okay? Someone sent me a Twitter link the other day, and we all know Twitter is now X. Someone sent me an X link, and I froze for a second. I thought they were sending me porn. Of that 25%, straight up Nazis. Like, yes, this is the leafy that I was waiting for. I don't know what a German accent sounds like. Wow, finally someone repeating every sick, deranged, evil, bigoted thought I have verbatim. Lord knows there's not enough of that online. Let me give them all of my money in stream donations. Then another 25% are people still living in that 2016 heyday where they just want Leafy to pull up a video of some child that's clearly being manipulated and orchestrated by their money-hungry, clout-greedy parents, and forced to sing some weird, strangely sexual song, and then laugh at it because, you know, children are ugly. Another 25%, I don't know if this is a strange demographic because I'm not totally sure. I think they're just along for the ride. Maybe they're watching curiously and they're like, I don't know. And then that last 25% is actually very fascinating to me because these are Leafy fans. These are Leafy fans. They are along for the ride, and they do want the bullying back, but they are interesting because, don't get me wrong, these are terrible people, but they're like, hey, can you chill out on like the homophobic and transphobia stuff? Like, we really don't care. Can you just go back to bullying kids? Like, that's all we want, really. Like, they're not anti-transphobia because it's transphobic. They're anti-transphobic because they're bored. Either way, this gross number gets smaller and smaller as the days go by. When I think about this whole thing, I almost feel bad for him, you know? I have to step in his shoes for a second, you know? Please, I invite you to step into the shoes of this man here. Not eager? Why not? Just really think about it. You've already essentially faded into obscurity and you're only in your mid to late 20s. A sizable chunk of his fan base does not like him. The commentary community which he helped usher in is now filled with the exact kinds of people that he used to make fun of, and those people are stronger than he is now and they make fun of him. He is a complete fossil. He is nothing but a cog in a machine that he helped build, and he's not even 30. And on top of all of that, on top of being essentially a fossil at like 27, on top of all of that, you're ugly? Guys, I don't know. It's like, what's the quality of life there? It's like, I think I'm doing you a favor. It's like Marley and Me, the dog from Marley and Me. I forgot his name. It's like, there's no real point anymore. Like, you just gotta take him out back and just like old yeller him. I don't know. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, you gotta horse tranquilize. Like, you gotta, it's like an old dog. You know, give it a good day, give it its favorite treat, give it its chew toy, play catch with it, take it on a walk in the park, and then around 7, 8 o'clock, when the lights get low and the sun starts to dim, you take that mutt to the vet, and the horse tranquilizer, you just gotta, you know what I mean? It's done. You know, you just gotta put them. Like, what's the quality of life there? Like, that's one of the instances where I honestly think like that's the better option. Because what do you have to, even your own fans are making fun of you. These are the people that you raised. This is the culture you cultivated, and they're making fun of you. The next person on this list is Blueface. Now, Blueface is a product of a very interesting kind of like cultural pipeline. That phrase took so many years off my life, dude. In today's video, let me tell you why Blueface is actually the product of capitalism, and I call it the post-ironic. So what happens in this is an artist will release a song, as they tend to do, and the song will blow up and it will be turned into a bit of a meme. There's a few reasons why it'll be turned into a meme. Either the song sucks, or it's a song released by a woman and men like it, and you know, we can't really appreciate something that's feminine without making fun of it. That's just how we work. But eventually, after a while, no matter how self-aware we think we are, the lines between irony and sincerity, they're going to blend, and people are going to start genuinely liking that song. And I remember this happening very specifically with Tatiana. Tatiana came out, and it was widely agreed. And I mean widely agreed. The internet cannot widely agree on anything anymore. There was like a 3-month span last year where it was hard to convince someone that Nazism was bad. But everyone was like, heard that song and was like, dude, you need to give up. This whole follow your dreams, like, you need to not follow your dreams. But after a while, it kept playing and it kept playing, and it started to get catchy and people started to like it. And then Cardi B got on the remix and people stopped being like, Tatiana, and be like, oh, Tatiana. The fourth stage, I think, is just to release semi-consistently. It doesn't have to be all that great, just release semi-consistently. And then the fifth stage, release a song that is slightly different with a slightly more mature sound. I remember 2020, 2021, he had like a verse where he was like rapping like normally and not sounding like if you gave Goofy ketamine and a trip to the hood. That was not funny. And people are stupid, and when expectations are zero, there's nowhere to go but up. So people heard this extremely mediocre and whatever verse and lost their minds. This is where Blueface does something that is extremely fascinating to me. Blueface saw the fact that he managed to get $1 million and 2 million STDs off of being truly one of the worst rappers to ever touch a microphone. And that wasn't enough for him, no. He had to ingrain himself in collective consciousness in a much more insidious way. He decided to become a ghetto reality TV star. Now, I'm a very terminally online person, but even I don't know the full extent of this. This is something that I refuse to subject myself to. Just everything I've heard about him since is, and like, I truly am conflicted. I don't know what is worse, him being a musician or him being a reality star, because his music is garbage. But then he showcases his personality, and he's worse than his music. I'm a bit masochistic. I like looking at things that make me mad. But this is something I can't subject myself to, not only because I don't want to see it, but because I don't think I should be seeing it. A lot of this stuff people are treating like it's like a movie or something. I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is a domestic violence situation unfolding on Instagram Live like every day. People talking about team Blueface, team Krishan. I'm team cops for the first time in my life, actually. I'm team like, let's slip a noose over his neck and kick him off of a bridge. Truly, everything I see from this guy is the worst thing I've seen all week. And it's every week. You're a bad rapper. You're a bad person. You've made millions of dollars off of being garbage. And then you made even more millions of dollars by essentially staring into a camera and being like, hey guys, I'm a rapist, a homophobe, and a woman beater. And you gotta go. Like, you straight up, like, you gotta die. Like, I'm just gonna, why am I seeing a video of a bunch of sex workers in your house? Meanwhile, your like 7-year-old son is like flipping through an empty pantry looking for Pop-Tarts to sustain himself. Why am I waking up going on Twitter? Actually, that's a better question. Why am I waking up and going on Twitter? But then, why am I waking up and going on Twitter and hearing that you've posted your newborn son's balls on your... You gotta kill yourself. That's just straight up. This is a person who is truly useless. A lot of people talk about there's no fathers in the home. I think this is an example of someone who could benefit from being away from his family. Do you know how evil of a person you have to be for me to be on the side of like the judicial system? I'll also say that there's a very insidious evil to these reality networks, especially these black-owned ones, because I guarantee you, and I'm saying this with no research, a lot of these black-owned networks that really just show a bunch of degeneracy and people fighting and are really just psyops made to make us all look bad. And I'm not saying black people can't have our fun. Hey, man. Okay, I enjoy a good fit of degeneracy just like anyone else. When the BLM riots were happening and people were stealing those PS5s, but the fans of this kind of content. I don't just mean watchers, because although I'm not doing it and I urge you not to as well, it's easy to see why something like a Blueface and Krishan show is too great of a train wreck for you to turn away. But if you're watching this like, ooh, am I team Krishan or Blueface this week? You're not gonna make it. You're just simply not gonna make it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. And it's always us. It's always us. And it just makes me so sad, because I wish it was white people so bad. White people have their own problems. They, we all know, This is a more general statement, but if you fit under any of these criteria, you'll be able to know who I'm talking about. If you follow the Shade Room and comment under the post, if the names Tory Lanez, Chris Brown, or R. Kelly ever get mentioned in conversation, and your response to that contains the words, "But what about?" If you believe that Doja Cat is the devil, if someone dies and your first question is, were they vaccinated? You're who I'm talking about, and I don't think there's much hope for you. This is all a goof, all a gab, all funny. Well, I'm kidding. If you accept about Blueface and leafyishere, I think they should kill themselves. I hope everyone's doing well. Everyone has different eras in their lives. Everyone's made mistakes. It's 2 a.m. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been grappling a lot with mistakes. It's pretty hard to kind of not only know that you did. It's not just about you. Maybe I'm a bit narcissistic. I am a bit narcissistic. The fact that other people have seen you as something that you aren't anymore, or maybe something that you are deep down at your worst. And it's hard to kind of forgive yourself and kind of move on with the knowledge that there's someone out there that has seen you at your worst and associates that with you. But I think the best thing we can do is to move onwards and upwards, keep going forward. For me, that means being more honest about myself to myself. And for you, that means hiring like a butcher to, like, every time you type Zeus.com or whatever to watch a Blueface and Krishan reality show, have him chop off like the tip of one of your fingers. Once like 3 or 4 of these bad boys are gone, I think you'll be clean off of it. I don't know. There's hope for all of us. I'm 18 years old. Please don't listen to anything I have to say, man. This is so unintelligible. I don't even know if I'm going to release this. I'm so tired, but I forced myself. I had to make a video tonight because there's no one coming to save me. And if I want this, I'm going to have to actually do it. So, I'm not sure how funny this is. So, I'm just going to...
Is he just staring at the camera? Hey, is this video with you killing yourself?
What?
Clear it up. I'm the same dollar sign slime, they gon' hear me. I'm the same dollar sign slime, they gon' feel me. I'm the same